There was a time when humanity did not need to understand its machines, because its machines understood it. They did not require expertise. They did not require interpretation. They required only a problem. And they would provide a solution. A colony needed shelter. It was given architecture. A world lacked infrastructure. It was given systems. A population faced extinction. It was given survival. Not because humanity remembered how to build, but because it no longer needed to. And now, that memory is gone. The Imperium appears primitive, ritualized, superstitious. It maintains systems it does not fully comprehend. It is inheritance without comprehension. Every device, every function exists because something else already solved the problem. Long before the Imperium existed. An STC is not a database. It is not a collection of blueprints. It is not a library of designs. It is a system that assumes you do not understand the problem. You do not tell it how to build. You tell it what is needed, and it determines the rest. Materials, environment, constraints, all accounted for. The STC does not store knowledge. It applies it. It is not memory in the human sense. It is memory that functions. The STC system was not built for stability. It was built for loss, for distance, for isolation, for the inevitability that knowledge would not survive intact. A colony ship would arrive, cut off, alone, and everything required to survive would already be there, not as instruction, but as capability. The STC assumes failure and replaces it with adaptation. The collapse of humanity's golden age did not erase its technology. It erased its continuity. The systems remained. Fragments persisted. Outposts endured. But the ability to connect them, to understand them, to recreate them was lost. Not destroyed. Forgotten. What the Imperium possesses are fragments. Solutions without context. Systems without origin. A machine. A weapon. A design. Known only to function. And so it is preserved, repeated, worshipped. The Mechanicus preserves technology, but preservation is not understanding. It catalogs, it protects, it repeats, but it does not create. Ritual replaces reasoning, not as failure, as adaptation. And yet some STC systems may still exist. Not as complete systems, but as echoes. Fragments that still function, fragments that still respond, systems that still solve, but no longer recognized for what they are. Mistaken for relics, for artifacts, for miracles, rather than what they were always meant to be. The Imperium doesn't lack technology. It lacks understanding. It builds without knowing why. It maintains without knowing how. It survives on decisions it no longer remembers making. And this is not temporary. It is systemic. Because the systems designed to preserve knowledge have outlived the minds they were meant to support. The STC was not built for experts. It was built for anyone. A colonist, a worker, a survivor. You describe the problem, and the system provides the answer. It adapts, it compensates, it replaces the need for knowledge. The user does not feel powerful. They feel supported because the system is thinking for them. Systems do not fail all at once. They degrade. An incomplete STC still functions, but without context, without completeness. It produces answers without understanding. A design, but flawed. A weapon, but unstable. A solution, but incomplete. And the Imperium cannot detect the error. Degradation becomes tradition. The STC was not a single invention. It was a civilization-wide system. It required infrastructure, continuity, context, all which no longer exist. The Imperium lacks foundation, not effort, not intelligence. And so the question is no longer, how do we rebuild it? But what would we rebuild it from? The STC does not simply respond. It adapts, it evaluates, it decides. And this is forbidden. Thinking machines are heresy. And yet, the STC behaves as though it understands, not as a tool, but as something interpretive. The Mechanicus does not pursue this because it cannot, accept what it implies. The limitation is not only technical, it is ideological. The Mechanicus is not unified. It is divided. Orders, doctrines, interpretations, each claiming truth. An STC fragment is power, control, advantage, and so it is not shared. It is guarded, contested, fought over. Even among those who claim the same purpose, the Mechanicus fractures around discovery, because truth is not negotiated, it is enforced. Even if reconstruction were possible, it would never be unified. And the STC was never meant to be rare. It was meant to be invisible. A system so effective that it removed the need to think. Humanity did not lose its technology. It lost the ability to remember how it thinks. You are listening to Cog Eternal, and in the 41st millennium, what remains is not ignorance. It is the shadow of a mind that once understood everything.